Welcome back to REB Auto. My name is Russell. If you enjoy this video, please consider liking and subscribing. Today we're going to go over how I used a Holley EFI as a data logger on this 1986 Camaro that has a 6-liter LS that's been converted to carburetor. So I've seen plenty of times where people have used Holley EFI as just fuel injection or just ignition. So my question was, is there any reason I can use it for just data logging? And the answer is no. So today we're going to go over how I used a Holley Terminator EFI kit. This is the old throttle body injection kit that came with the HP computer as a data logger only. So the way I'm doing this is I'm using the TAC output from the MSD box. So if you have any carbureted engine, you just have to figure out from Holley how the TAC signal is picked up, because that's one of the things I wanted to data log was RPM. One of the other things, I'm monitoring coolant temperature, O2, and battery voltage. So I went get the diagram, wiring diagram from Holley. In fact, the main thing we need to do is have the crank speed input into pin A30 on connector J1A. Holley sells a plug for this. It's part, if you don't have it, it's part number 558-302. It is the TAC input ignition adapter. If you want to make one, it's plug A on that plug that goes to the ignition plug on this particular harness. I'm using an MSD 6010, and like I said, it's the TAC output. So the other connections to the car, the battery power wires, I run straight to the battery, and then there's an ignition on that I ran to the fuse box of this car. This car had a spade connector in the fuse box just for key on. So that's where I'm getting my key on from. When you come into your Holley, one of the main things you want to make sure you get right is the ignition type, and that's CD box TAC output, no timing control. So that's what we're using here. Also, you want to make sure you get your O2 sensor correct, and then any other sensors you want to run. You also have control of the 4 inputs and the 4 outputs on this HP, or the same thing with the Terminator. If you were doubt anybody's going to do this with a Dominator, but you never know. And then just kind of show you an example. Here's one of the data logs. I believe that Baro's in the ECU. Here's coolant temperature, battery voltage, O2, and then RPM. So pretty rudimentary, but if you had a carbureted car and you picked up a Holley EFI and you wanted to get some data logging, a little bit of input output control, this could be an option for somebody that isn't ready to completely get into Holley EFI yet. As you move on, you could easily add ignition control or fuel injection. Hope this helps out, and if you got any questions, let me know.